When it comes to new cars, you are probably sick of hearing about shortages. We have chip shortages, tire shortages, raw material shortages. Trust me, we are all tired of shortages. But we are fixing that today because let me tell you, there is absolutely no shortage of new models coming in 2023 and 24. And we are here to tell you about them.
We've got all the best cars, trucks, and SUVs that are all new, substantially updated, or otherwise noteworthy or cool, Emmy. We've got gas ones, we've got electric ones you've been waiting for and ones you've probably never heard of. So kick off your shoes, grab a glass, or perhaps a bottle, or perhaps a keg. This is going to take a while. Let's go, America. We're diving in.
Do you want to banter?
Are we doing banter?
Yeah, let's do some banter.
Can you say banter?
Banter.
Banter. It's gonna be really fun, this.
Banter. Big news, y'all. Acura has confirmed the return of the ZDX. Yeah, we'll let that sink in a bit because it's either going to take you a beat to remember the ZDX or it's going to take a moment to ponder this new reality precisely because you do remember the original ZDX. The sleek crossover seen here, Acura's new precision concept SUV, that isn't the ZDX, but it is a very strong indicator of what the EV will look like when it arrives in 2024. That's right, I said EV. This one's even being co-developed with General Motors, including GM's battery and platform. Now, you probably already know plenty about the Integra. It's Acura's sporty new entry-level sedan based on the Honda Civic. What you might not know is that a Type S high-performance version debuts next year.
Alfa Romeo has had a pretty quiet year in the States, but the new Tonale, that's Tonale, is a big deal for the Italian brand. It's their new small crossover SUV, and to our eyes, it looks great. It leads the charge in Alfa's journey towards electrification and will only be available as a plug-in hybrid. It also debuts new interior tech and even, get this, comes with its own NFT. That's non-fungible token. That's that Bitcoin type thing. Anyway, let's move on. Audi. Audi is planning a deluge of EVs, and most are SUVs, but not this one. A concept version of what will eventually be known as the A6 e-tron was shown early last year, and we'll finally see the real deal later in 2023. Expect a sleek-looking, low-slung sedan with about 300 miles of range, quick charging times, and a starting price of around 80 grand. As for things you will definitely see in 23, the Audi Q4 e-tron is one of them. We got our first taste of Audi's most affordable EV late last year, and, well, it drives a lot like a lot of other electric SUVs on the market right now. The Q4 e-tron is Audi's version of the Volkswagen ID.4, but even though it has the same bones as the V-Dub, it boasts more premium materials, sharper looks, and technology exclusive to Audi. There's even a sportback variant if you want to look more dynamic, but, carry less stuff.
Now, you probably aren't too familiar with the Q8 e-tron, but you'll know one when you see it. And that's because Audi has facelifted the e-tron for 2023 and given it a new name. The Q8 e-tron still looks the same on the outside, and Audi hasn't done much to the interior. That's because the focus of this makeover was more range. Last year's model could only go 222 miles on a single charge, and that just wasn't gonna fly in 2023. The refreshed model should perform much better in the EPA's testing and when we give it our own real-world range test. Now, the R8 isn't new, but this GT model is. It's a rear-wheel drive special edition with more power, some sweet-looking aero mods, and oh yeah, this is the last time that Audi will ever put the V10 into an R8. Only 333 will be made before Audi sends one of our favorite supercars to the great racetrack in the sky. We expect its replacement to run on batteries, but it's not clear when it will show up.
Bentley's got its eye on an all-electric model for 2025, but in the meantime, this super limited edition Voiture previews the way it'll look. Weirdly, it previews it with a V12 engine and the current Continental GT's underpinnings. No biggie though, Bentley is only making 18 of these $2 million coupes, and they're all spoken for. What's more opulent than a Bentley Bentayga? A larger Bentley Bentayga. This extended wheelbase model adds over 7 inches to the already large SUV. That makes it more of a limo, an idea reinforced by the revised seats and power-closed rear doors.
BMW's iconic 3 Series gets a makeover for 2023. The changes amount to some new looks outside, with important added tech including a big curved dashboard display. There's also some not so important tech like a new gear lever, and everything else about the 3 Series pretty much remains unchanged. But surprisingly, BMW has not blighted its face with that oversized grille this time.
The 7 Series has long been BMW's flagship. It's where the brand shows off its flashiest tech and the Bavarian way of doing luxury. The 2023 7 Series is the most outlandish yet, with crazy exterior styling that you may or may not love. Really don't like it myself. And an optional 31-inch 8K screen in the back that will probably have you wishing you weren't in the driver's seat. It's got 6 and 8-cylinder engine options, and there's an EV version called the i7 that gets more than 300 miles of range, along with identically controversial styling that I still don't like.
If sports cars are more your thing, then you might be interested in the all-new M2. While we're still a little unsure about the way it looks, we definitely approve of the M3's engine being used in a smaller, slightly lighter rear-wheel drive only package. Now the M2 also gets the option for a 6-speed manual for all you purists out there. And how does it drive? Well, we don't know yet, but if it's anything like the last M2, we're sure it's going to be a big hit. BMW hasn't forgotten about the bigger M cars though. The M4 CSL is a hardcore, track-ready version of the M4 that's so focused on losing weight, it ditched the back seat. The M3 CS isn't out yet, but it will probably follow the same CS formula that we've seen before. That means a bit more power, a bit less weight, and small changes all throughout the car to make it even more capable. Oh, and also, it's gonna cost a lot more money.
BMW's smallest SUV, the X1, is all new for 2023. It gets distinctive looks, some fresh interior tech, and a cabin space that provides a much more premium offering in a super competitive segment. It's also bigger than the car it replaces and makes more power too. All in all, the 2023 X1 looks like it adds a good blend of grown-up styling and new functionality. If you thought the 7 Series had polarizing styling, just wait until you see this new XM. It's BMW's new V8 plug-in hybrid-powered super SUV. If that thought isn't enough to make the BMW faithful cringe, hearing that it's the first model exclusively worked on by BMW's M division since the original M1 sports car might be the final straw. It seats 5 and features all-wheel drive. We'll see if it's better to drive than it looks later this year, but that bar is pretty low.
GM's Buick is looking to go fully electric by 2030. Its journey toward an all-EV lineup will start by exhuming an old name that seems to fit these battery-powered times: Electra. This time though, the Electra will be an SUV. The 5-seat crossover will be built in China and should arrive in the United States for 2024. It's expected to share the Ultium battery tech and Super Cruise drive assist found in other GM models. And before Electra shows up, we're expecting a midlife update for today's Encore GX, yeah, this guy, plus a more substantial updo for the larger Envision this year as well. Also in the near term, keep an eye peeled for Envista, another new Buick SUV debuting soon. This coupe-like crossover won't be an EV. Instead, it's expected to slot below today's Encore GX with 4-cylinder turbo power and front-wheel drive. Will it be something to be excited about? Well, we're not going to know until we see it, but we are excited that the brand is doing something new. And speaking of GM, if the Escalade and its big V8 wasn't already raucous enough, now there's the Escalade V. Now it's mostly the same body-on-frame SUV we've come to know and love, but with the supercharged V8 from the previous Corvette Z06 shoved under its massive hood. It's also one of the most expensive Cadillacs ever made, but it pales in comparison to what comes next.
Cadillac Celestiq. This imposing and luxurious thing is the Cadillac Celestiq. Caddy sees the chance to move to electric as a chance to reclaim its position amongst the finest luxury car companies in the world. Yes, it hasn't been that for a long time. But the Celestiq is a hand-built $300,000+ statement of intent. Yes, I really did say that. $300,000, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn, for a Caddy. Whew.
Plus a bit more.
Yeah.
Every Celestiq will be, Celestiq will be commissioned, built to order with the help of a dedicated concierge. No two will be alike. This is Caddy's answer to Rolls-Royce. It's going to come standard with a 2-motor electric drivetrain, good for around 600 horsepower. That's enough to push this huge sled to 60 miles an hour in under 4 seconds. Estimated driving range is 300 miles before you send Jeeves, a chap, to charge it. I'm sure you have a Jeeves at home.
Yeah, do you?
No.
I thought you were my Jeeves.
I am Jeeves. Of course, this Caddy should ride and handle well with its air suspension and four-wheel steering, but it's really all about that cabin. I'm talking a full-width 55-inch screen, so that's almost as big as my TV, a 38-speaker 3D audio system, hands-free assisted driving tech, you name it, it's got it. Cadillac's coming for y'all, it says here.
Y'all?
Caddy's coming for y'all.
Caddy's coming for y'all.
5 years of living in the US.
Y'all.
5 years.
You are so, wow.
Caddy is coming for y'all. Considering 300 grand is a little out of reach for most of us, the Lyriq might be a more compelling option. It's been around for a little while now, but it signals a new direction from Cadillac, and it's a song we don't mind singing. Lyriqs get up to 312 miles of EPA estimated range on a single charge, and Cadillac says it's already sold out for 2023. That means plenty of these EVs will be hitting the roads near you. But if you want one, you're already in for a year-long wait.
This is an incredibly busy period for Chevy, which enters the electric age in earnest. Check out the 2024 Blazer EV, which looks great and is also super interesting. Available in front, rear, or all-wheel drive. Yep, that's right. The Blazer EV will be good for over 300 miles of range. We're expecting anywhere from between 300 horsepower and nearly double that from a high-performance SS model. Chevy says that the latter will hit 60 in under 4 seconds, and it will be offered with GM's excellent Super Cruise semi-automated driving system, making this an unexpected but formidable foe for Tesla's Model Y performance. New midsize trucks don't come around very often, and that's why this redesigned 2023 Chevy Colorado is a big deal. Edmund's own Ryan Zamalin got an up-close look at two of the more badass versions, the Trail Boss and the Desert Boss.
This is a big deal. It's a fully redesigned 2023 Chevrolet Colorado, and there's a lot of new stuff to talk about. Obviously, you've got tough looks, and under the hood, there's a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine on every model. And it's got 3 different power levels for you to choose from. But it's not just about muscle. Inside, there's a refreshed interior with a classy vibe, and 11-inch touchscreen is standard. Oh, on top of that, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both wireless. Now, we haven't gotten to drive the new Colorado yet, but it sure seems primed to go up against the Toyota Tacoma and Honda Ridgeline for our top-ranked midsize pickup. Now, this one happens to be the new Colorado Trail Boss. And over there, that's the limited edition ZR2 Desert Boss, with more ground clearance, multimatic suspension, and a whole lot of armor, as you can see. So that's 2 brand new off-road variants for the new Colorado. Once we get to drive it, we have a lot of adventures in mind.
For 2023, the C8 Corvette is opening up a big old can of whoop ass. I didn't write that line. Big old can of whoop ass. And it's called the Z06. With a smaller, higher revving V8, good for 670 horsepower, and a track-focused suspension system and aerodynamics, this mid-engine sports car looks, drives, and sounds ready to humble Ferraris and Lamborghinis for a fraction of the price. The biggest challenge is getting your hands on one at MSRP. But the Z06 won't be the only development for the C8 this year. GM is teasing the E-Ray, which electrifies the Corvette for the first time and makes it all-wheel drive for the first time too. GM's performance flagship is clearly entering a new age. Chevy's popular, if middling, Equinox is getting a big jolt of electricity for 2024. Once again, our Ryan has the details.
Here's a new family-sized electric SUV, the Chevrolet Equinox EV that will be out in the fall of 2023. Now, it's powered by next-gen batteries that are really similar to those used in the GMC Hummer EV. So this thing's a pretty big deal. You can order it with a standard range battery pack in front-wheel drive, or you can get a larger extended range pack with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive like this one. We like that it's got a snazzy interior with more space than the other Chevrolet electric vehicles. And we like its available 17-inch touchscreen, which is pretty cool. Oh, and the snazzy exterior styling. So this is a neat-looking EV that we'll be keeping a very close eye on.
Now, with all the hubbub around the Rivian R1T and Ford's F-150 Lightning, GM is hoping to ride America's growing electric truck wave with battery-powered versions of its own iconic pickups. Eventually available in everything from a basic contractor-spec Chevy work truck model to a high-end GMC Denali, these full-size rigs are expected in late 2023 or early 2024. You'll be able to get around 400 miles of range and option up to crazy amounts of power. I'm talking over 750 horses. In contrast to Ford's Lightning, GM decided to make both the Silverado and Sierra EVs more distinct from their gas-powered counterparts in both looks and features. Whether truck buyers will like this strategy is unclear, but features like the unique fold-down midgate for big cargo is pretty cool, and we already love GM Super Cruise drive assist tech. Last year's Chevy Silverado got the interior it always should have had, along with updated looks. For 2023, there's a new ZR2 off-road trim and an even brawnier ZR2 Bison Limited Edition developed with AEV, a high-end truck customizer. Plus, Silverado's optional Duramax diesel has been retuned for 10% more horsepower and a substantial torque bump, too. Chevy's heavy-duty Silverado is getting a glow-up for 2024, including cleaner styling and much improved cabins. There are also updated powertrains, including a new 10-speed transmission for the gas model. The Duramax gets even more torque and can tow up to 22,500 pounds, but elsewhere, payload ratings actually fall on certain models.
Don't look now, but Chevy's littlest SUV looks good. Larger, wider, and far more premium looking, the second-gen Trax looks to make its predecessor a distant memory. Priced from the low 20s and powered by a tiny 1.2-litre three-cylinder engine, it arrives in spring. And this time, it's front-wheel drive only. Chrysler continues to be a pretty quiet brand. For 2023, the iconic but, let's face it, ancient 300 sedan is getting its V8 back as a sort of 485 horsepower, 21-gun salute send-off before it's off to the great crusher in the sky. I still kind of like it. It's got character. There's also a new road tripper variant of one of our favourite minivans, the Pacifica. It's primarily a visual appearance package with orange trim and some road trip friendly gear like a roof rack and tow package. Great Scott. I think that's a movie reference. Great Scott. Is DeLorean really coming back as an electric car? This is the Alpha 5, a 4-seat gull-wing EV, only 88, wink wink, see what they did there? Are slated to be made in 2024, but more models are promised. DeLorean Part 2, see what I did there, is the brainchild of a Texas-based startup led by a former Tesla and Karma executive. Can't wait to drive this one.
Dodge knows it has to figure out how to bring its brash brand of performance into the EV age, and it's telegraphing where it's going to go with this fierce-looking Charger Daytona SRT concept. It looks ready for production, and indeed, Dodge is already talking about various power levels, all the way up to a 670 horsepower E Stage 2. We're expecting to see the production version in 2024. Okay, so you're not ready to commit to the all-electric lifestyle yet. Don't worry, we gotcha. Dodge's big news for 2023 is the return of the Hornet. This time out, the name is stuck on the back of what else? Yep, a compact crossover. Now, Dodge says that the Hornet will start at under 30 grand and be the quickest SUV for the money. Even the base GT gets a powerful 4-cylinder turbo, and if you're willing to consider some level of electrification, there's an up-level plug-in hybrid that gets all-wheel drive and over 30 miles of electric range. Oh, and this model shares lots of DNA with the Alfa Romeo Tonale, so it might even handle well.
Ferrari's latest mid-engine supercar may look conventional, but it's a rule breaker. It's the brand's first rear-wheel drive plug-in hybrid, and it's the first powered by a V6 since the Dino. It generates over 800 horsepower and is available in both hardtop and roofless forms. Despite starting at over 300 grand, the waitlist is predictably long. This is the new Puro Sangue. The name means pure blood, which seems kind of ironic given that it's a SUV Ferrari. Anyway, this is the legendary Italian sports car maker's first SUV, and it actually looks, well, great. This 4-door crossover doesn't look like it's much for the rough stuff, but it should be quite an experience on the road. It's powered by a screaming V12 engine with over 700 horsepower, and it should hit 60 miles an hour from rest in just over 3 seconds. Now, if you're wondering why Ferrari needs this model, you only have to look at Lamborghini's hot-selling Euros to know that there's a market for megabuck SUVs. This one is expected to cost about $400,000. Let's face it, that's the price of a nice house in most of the US. But hey, those houses don't have operatic V12s. They don't have rear-hinged power back doors, do they? No, they don't. And anyway, you can't race a house.
Remember the original 500e, that cute little city EV? It was so unprofitable, the company CEO actually urged customers not to buy one. Well, apparently the balance sheet has changed because it is coming back. Fortunately, this all-new model is just as adorable as before, and this little guy will go on sale in early 2024. We don't have US specs just yet, but European models are rated between 150 and 200 miles of range. A higher performance Abarth model is in the works too, but it's not clear if it will make it to our shores. This smooth operator is the all-electric Fisker Ocean. Yep, it's from another new company. Look, I get why you're skeptical about startups, but you should pay attention to this one because production has already started and it's being built by Magna, a huge, trusted industry supplier. Plus, it looks real sharp. The Ocean is loaded with sustainable materials. There's an available range-extending solar roof and plans for various powertrains that go from mild to wild. Deliveries are starting with the fully loaded Ocean 1, which costs right around $70,000. Fisker claims 0 to 60 in about 3.5 seconds and up to 350 miles of range for that one. Now, fortunately, much cheaper Oceans are promised, including one under 40 grand. And if that's still too costly for you, stay tuned because Fisker is promising the PEAR, which stands for Personal Electric Automotive Revolution. No, it's not the fruit. It's a 5-seat electric city car with a base price of right around $30,000. Fisker is promising deliveries in 2024, which is nothing if not ambitious. Speaking of ambitious, Fisker is also teasing its Ronin sports car. This long-range electric flagship is due to be shown in August and cost around $200,000 when it goes on sale in late 2024.
Ford's reborn Bronco range has been a runaway hit. For 2022, the lineup expanded with the steroidal high-speed off-road Raptor and the swamp-ready Everglades. But so far in 2023, Ford's taking it easy, with a couple of heritage trim and tape editions for both the big Bronco and the smaller Sport. They're loaded with retro colours and cues designed to evoke the original 1966 model. Honestly, I love this thing. The Bronco Sport is also getting a new Black Diamond off-road package, which includes additional underbody shielding and all-terrain tyres, along with unique visual cues. Finally, we continue to hear persistent rumours of a Bronco Sport hybrid waiting in the wings too. For 2023, Ford is sharpening up the Bronco Sport City Slicker Twin, the Escape compact crossover. It's got a more chiseled and aggressive appearance, even if you don't splurge for the new ST line. Plus, there's additional tech options, including a 360-degree camera and Amazon Alexa integration. The interior screen's grown too.
Give the people what they want, and that is what is happening to Ford's popular F-150 Raptor in 2023. Yep, Ford has finally put a V8 back in its high-flying full size after years of listening to truck buyers kvetch about the way its twin-turbo V6 engine sounds. The R's engine is the supercharged V8 out of the Shelby GT500, and it makes a ridiculous amount of power, 700 horses. Enthusiasts, your problem is solved. As for the rest of the F-150 range, well, we're expecting a mid-cycle refresh in 2024 that includes updated infotainment and visual tweaks. Right now, though, Ford's not showing any of its cards, so you're looking at Edmunds' current long-term F-150 hybrid. Ooh, it's so trucky. Ford's heavy-duty trucks are all new for 2023, and they look ready to do some serious work with a range of gas and diesel V8 engines. Ford is doubling down on cabin and safety tech as well as business-minded connected hardware. There's also a version of Ford's amazing built-in Pro Power onboard generator, but it's not as powerful as the one in the F-150 because, well, there's no hybrid Super Duty.
Ford's Mustang enters its 7th generation for the 2024 model year, and it definitely looks to be more evolution than revolution. All the rumours about electrification and possible all-wheel drive have gone by the wayside. In fact, the powertrains are largely carryover. That's fine by us, as we really love the outgoing pony car. We just wanted a few things updated, especially on the cabin and tech side. The new car is available with an EcoBoost Turbo 4, or the same Coyote 5-litre V8 with either a 10-speed automatic or, rejoice, a 6-speed manual. Power figures haven't been released, but we expect slight increases over last year. The biggest improvements are with the cabin, including better quality materials and a massive infotainment update. including a digital gauge cluster and a large 13-inch touchscreen. There's also a new Dark Horse track variant that looks kinda neat. Oh, and you can rev the car remotely from your key fob, which is groovy.
For 2024, Ford is readying a next-gen Ranger, and to quote Lizzo, "It's about damn time." The outgoing truck only went on sale here in 2019, but it was old when it arrived. A version of the new rig is already on sale elsewhere, but the midsizer is being tuned for American tastes and wallets. Look for Turbo 4 power to continue, but we're also expecting a 3-liter EcoBoosted Ranger Raptor, a high-performance off-roader coming to America for the first time. It could make right around 400 horsepower, and I am super excited about it. One just finished the Baja 1000 and then drove home with no problems, which is pretty darn cool. Now, we also expect Ford's Tacoma rival to gain a completely new interior with an available 12-inch touchscreen. 2023 is shaping up to be the year automakers finally discovered overlanding. Ford is jumping on this self-sufficient bandwagon with its Transit van, which is already popular as a basis for RVs. The Transit Trail gets standard all-wheel drive and a substantial lift, along with a wider track thanks to its beefy all-terrain tires. Get ready for the vandemic, y'all.
If you're a regular Edmunds viewer, you'll know we love the Genesis GV60. It's the luxury brand's first EV, and it recently beat the Tesla Model Y in one of our comparison tests. It's both quick and quick to charge. Plus, it's posh inside and loaded with interesting tech, including a facial recognition scanner and a funky crystal ball shifter. Yes, it's kinda weird looking, but in an endearing way. Next to plug in at Genesis dealers is the GV70 Electrified, a battery-powered version of the brand's other compact SUV. This one pairs more traditional looks with electric torque. It arrives later this year with US specs and prices forthcoming. Our man Ryan already told you about the next-gen Chevy Colorado. Look for the GMC Canyon to be the same story with a little professional-grade frosting. The GMC Hummer EV pickup is getting an SUV companion for 2024, and it's every bit the same steroidal, oversized electric cartoon that you'd expect. It's available with up to, wait for it, 930 horsepower and 300 miles of estimated range. Like the pickup, the SUV is expected to weigh over 9,000 pounds and be hugely inefficient. But hey, it crab walks sideways.
The GMC Sierra got a big update this year, and the bulk of the updates finally give the Sierra the interior it needed. Thicker, richer leather and updated tech like GM Super Cruise combined to give this truck a jack-of-all-trades feel. It's like a luxury car and a workhorse all wrapped up into one. GMC is getting its own version of Chevy's Silverado electric truck, and it launches in early 2024 with its own bold look. GM is promising a huge 400 miles of range, ludicrous power, over 750 horses, and leading-edge cabin tech. You can even spec onboard Power Station Pro, which sounds an awful lot like Ford's Pro Power onboard generator. Similar to Chevy Silverado HD, GMC Sierra gets updated styling and a vastly improved interior. In addition to similar hardware improvements to the Chevy, there's also a new highfalutin Denali Ultimate trim with even more luxury car trappings, and a new AT4X off-road trim arrives soon.
Honda's Accord used to be the heart of the brand. These days, that's probably the CR-V, but the model is still hugely important. Editor Brian Wong has the details about the new one.
This is the redesigned 2023 Honda Accord, and it kicks off the sedan's 11th generation. Now, from the outside, still looks like an Accord, but around the back, some very cool styling details that we like with this sort of flat black bar that goes across the whole trunk. Under the hood, big changes. 4 of the Accord's 6 trims now only come with a hybrid powertrain, which means there's only 2 gas versions left, most of them now electrified. And inside, big updates, including a 12.3-inch multimedia touchscreen. Now, this is actually the largest touchscreen that Honda has ever put in a vehicle, and it comes standard on all of those models with the hybrid powertrain. In addition to the screen, one other big update, it also includes for the first time Google built-in, which means that you get Google Maps, the Google Play Store, and the Google Assistant all in the native multimedia system.
A new Civic Type R is always a big deal, and this version is the most powerful Honda that's ever been sold here in the States. It keeps the bones of the previous car, but adds a nicer interior, more restrained looks, and small improvements underneath the skin, which make it even better to drive than the last one. Honda's hugely popular CR-V enters 2023 with a new look and a huge interior. Unlike past years, there's no separate hybrid model. Instead, upper trim levels all come with the gas-electric powertrain. It gets up to 40 miles per gallon, but we still don't love how the hybrid performs. Frankly, we prefer the gas-only Turbo 4. Cabin updates include a roomier back seat and an all-new infotainment system. The latter's a big improvement, but some rivals still have crisper graphics and larger displays. Overall, the CR-V remains a sensible choice in the compact SUV world, but in a recent comparison test, it wasn't our top choice. Kia Sportage Hybrid was, in case you're wondering.
Honda's HR-V is all grown up for the 2023 model year. Based on the latest Civic chassis, this new compact crossover has a bigger, more powerful engine and a more sophisticated suspension system for a better ride. Available in both front and all-wheel drive and priced from about $25,000, the HR-V is noteworthy for its particularly generous cargo space. On the tech side, it's also available with a larger 9-inch touchscreen with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, along with more active safety gear, including a more advanced adaptive cruise control system. It's an SUV palooza at Camp Honda this year. Next up, Ryan Wong is here to show us the next Pilot.
This is the redesigned 2023 Honda Pilot, and Honda has given its 3-row midsize SUV extensive updates, starting with a brand new exterior look that's more rugged and a new trail sport trim that actually adds a bunch of off-road capability to the Pilot. Under the hood, a brand new 3.5-liter V6 made into a 10-speed automatic transmission. That's an upgrade over last year's 9-speed. We move inside. Other big updates including a 3rd row that can now fit adults and a very flexible 2nd row. On Elite and Touring trim levels, there's actually a removable 2nd row center seat that you could store in the cargo area, and that allows you to switch between 7 and 8 passenger seating capacity depending on what you need. Up front in the cabin, there is a 9-inch touchscreen with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity. This is a bit smaller than the large touchscreens you'll find in competitors, so a bit of space there for Honda to do more upgrades on this Pilot.
And while we're still on Honda, let's talk Prologue. This sharp looker is their first electric SUV, and it's due in 2024 with a little help from General Motors. Yep, just like the Acura ZDX. I mean, EVs are really expensive to make, so it's nice to have friends to split the bill with. Anyway, Honda is borrowing GM's battery tech, and in fact, this Prologue is going to be built at the General's factory too. No lie. I'm speaking the truth. Now, we don't have a lot of specifics yet, but we know it's about the size of Honda's current Passport. We also expect it will be priced similarly, starting at right around $40,000.
Hyundai's N Performance division is digging in on EVs, and the first one we'll see is the Ioniq 5N. While nothing's official yet, this hot Hyundai is rumoured to have over 500 horsepower. The extra grunt will be backed up by other go-faster bits like better brakes, stickier tyres, and a retuned suspension system. If it's anything like the Kona N, this thing should be fantastic. Hyundai's first dedicated EV, the Ioniq 5, came out the gates guns blazing, winning us over with its style, performance, and fast charging tech. This time, Hyundai's getting a little weird on us with the Ioniq 6 sedan. It's a funky, super aerodynamic rival to the Tesla Model 3, but shares a lot of its tech and hardware with the Ioniq 5. Our first drive in Korea suggests that even if you don't love the way this Beetle-shaped 6 looks, there are plenty of reasons to consider it. Hyundai says top all-wheel drive versions will get 320 horsepower and a 0 to 60 time in under 5 seconds, which is pretty quick. The range is estimated to be up to 340 miles, and a new navigation system will guide you to nearby charging stations, skipping the ones that are broken, so skipping a lot if you live in California. Look out for it in dealerships this spring. So you like Hyundai's excellent Palisade, but you want your 3-row SUV to run on batteries. Sit tight, ladies and gentlemen, because a production version of this Ioniq 7 concept is coming soon. It'll be based on the same architecture and electric technology as the smaller Ioniq 5 that we've come to know and love. We don't expect to see the glass-heavy hatch, rear hinge doors, and ultra-minimalist cabin make it to production. Instead, keep an eye peeled for over 300 miles of range, lightning-quick charging, and plenty of technology.
And is it time for a new Kona already? Apparently so. For 2024, this second-gen subcompact SUV has a bold new look and has grown a lot bigger. There are gas and electric models as before, along with new hybrid and N-line sporty variants. Hyundai has yet to confirm which models are coming to the US, and the power and torque remain TBD too.
The Hyundai Palisade got the smallest of refreshes for the new model year. There's a massaged front grille, some new headlights, new tech like a built-in Wi-Fi hotspot, and, well, that's about it. Elsewhere, it looks kind of the same, and the interior is still spacious and user-friendly. That said, Hyundai didn't really have much to do because, to be honest, the Palisade was already really, really good. I am pretty pumped for this one. Say hello to the Ineos Grenadier, and yep, that is a new brand. This highly capable 4x4 is built in France and powered by BMW engines. It's a no-nonsense tool-like SUV, and it's the creation of a billionaire petrochemical magnate. It's coming to the US soon, and it should appeal to the fans of the Land Rover Defender, Jeep Wrangler, and Toyota 4Runner, and okay, me too. Jeep is getting ready to bring its take on pure electric fun to the great outdoors soon with this Recon EV. The midsize SUV should be just about the size of today's Grand Cherokee when it arrives in 2024. And Jeep promises that it will have real off-road chops too, complete with knobby tires, underbody protection, and a sophisticated traction management system. Plus, it will be available with a power top as well as removable doors and glass, just like a Wrangler. The plan is for 50% of Jeep sales to be EV by 2030. Now, didn't we just get a new Wagoneer? Yeah, well, Jeep thinks that we need another one, and it's going to be based on the Wagoneer S concept. And surprise, it's an EV. And it doesn't really share much with Jeep's other recently introduced Wagoneers. No, instead, the company is targeting over 400 miles per charge, 600 horsepower, and a sports car-like 0 to 60 time.
Kia's EV6 is already one of our favorite electric cars, and for 2023, it's getting a far more powerful GT variant. How powerful, I hear you ask? Well, try over 575 horsepower, enough for 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. That makes it genuinely supercar quick in a straight line. Unfortunately though, with great power comes far less range, just over 200 miles according to the estimates. The GT won't be cheap either, starting at around 63 grand. If you want a 3-row SUV powered by electrons, your list of options is mighty short and mighty costly too. But Kia's EV9 will shortly change that. Revealed in concept form last year, the production EV is expected for 2024. It promised us to set new standards in range, says Kia, and we're ballparking pricing from 55 to 75 grand. Now that's not nothing of course, but it's less than half the price of a Tesla Model X, one of your few other EV 3-row options. Guess who's back? Nero's back! Hurrah! Kia's second-gen crossover is once again offered in hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and all-electric flavors. It's got a bold new look, complete with available contrasting side blades like a Audi R8 supercar. More importantly, this 2023 model has a hugely improved cabin with two 10-inch screens and loads of class-above convenience tech. The hybrid's powertrain is largely carryover, but it offers an estimated 53 miles per gallon. The plug-in hybrid version, called the PHEV, is estimated to offer 33 miles of range before the engine kicks in, and the EV promises over 250 miles on a single charge.
For 2024, Kia's affordable Seltos is getting refreshed. The optional turbo engine gets more power and an 8-speed automatic, while the interior is treated to not one, but two 10-inch digital screens. That's a digital gauge cluster and an infotainment screen, and that is unusual at this price point. There's also modest visual tweaks and a new X-Line trim. The Kia Soul might have lost, well, some of its soul. Yep, for this year, Kia got rid of the spunky turbocharged engine and toned down the looks. On the plus side, lane departure warning and forward collision assist tech are now standard. You've probably seen the Telluride, like, everywhere. It's one of the most popular SUVs on sale, and it's been one of Edmunds' top rated. For 2023, it gains new looks, a massaged interior, and a new off-road oriented X-Pro model. Sadly, they got rid of those cool orange daytime running lights, so if you still want those, you're gonna have to buy a used one. Well, can't win them all. And speaking of off-roaders, here's Lamborghini. I mean it kind of a little bit. So, okay, look, this is the 2023 Huracan Sterrato, and yeah, it really is a lifted off-road supercar. It's got raised ground clearance, Bridgestone all-terrain tires, and of course over 600 horsepower from that V10 engine. Though, you guys, it's probably much more rally than rock crawler, but still, it's pretty cool. And Lambo's top-selling Urus SUV is also making news with this new 2023 Performante. It's actually less off-roady than before, but really that's no surprise. Priced from over $260,000, it's got slightly more power and it sits lower on a new steel spring suspension. Grippier tires, unique aero, and a recalibrated transmission mean it handles and accelerates even better than the already crazy good standard model.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you've made it as far as our little round of applause. Thank you very much,
we're like
everybody.
halfway there! You guys are so good!
How are you feeling?
Oh, super good. I just need some Diet Dr. Pepper and I'm ready to go for the rest of the alphabet.
Bring on the caffeine and bring on Land Rover. So you love the Land Rover Defender? Yeah, I certainly do. But you need more space, which maybe I do. You might think that's a stretch, and you'd be right. This new 2023 Defender 130 is over 13 inches longer, accommodating a third row in the process. Priced from around 70 grand, it looks a little malproportioned. It's got a big kind of like fat ass, to be honest, but it should still be capable off-road.
Let's do another one of us.
Can we not say fat ass? Reborn for 2023, the Range Rover Sport looks an awful lot like its Range Rover big brother, which is no bad thing. It's super posh and super capable, and is available with everything from a turbocharged mild hybrid 6 to a plug-in hybrid or a twin-turbo V8, old school. Finally, an all-electric version is promised for 2024, once again, just like its Range Rover big brother. The Lexus RX practically invented the luxury two-row SUV when it first came out back in 1998. Now, 25 years later, it's new all over again, and this bestseller has really upped its game. For starters, there are all new looks, and Lexus has kind of found a way to make the spindle grille work on an SUV, finally. Inside, there's a nice mix of luxury materials that make it an even more premium place to be. Special mention has to go to the seats, which we love. It's even pretty nice to drive. All told, the RX finally has what it takes to hang with the Audis and Benzes of the world. Nice job, Lexus.
Lexus' first EV for America will be this aggressive-looking compact SUV, the RZ. Based on the same platform and tech as Toyota's disappointing BZ4X, the RZ is only promising 225 miles of range. But on the plus side, it's got quite a bit more power and a nicer interior. Remarkably, Lexus is planning on offering a yoke-style steering wheel just like Tesla, and thankfully, it'll be an option. Now, how will the new model stack up against rivals like the Audi A4 e-tron and Volvo XC40 Recharge? Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. For 2023, Lincoln's small Corsair gets a tech infusion. The big news is the availability of Active Glide, a hands-free highway driving assistant with automated lane changes. Terrible name, cool tech. Other updates include a revised nose with a larger grille and a bigger infotainment screen. After some financial fits and starts, startup company Lordstown says it is finally just about ready to come to market with its Endurance EV. The commercial market-minded electric truck features a unique powertrain with 4 in-wheel motors for low maintenance. Unfortunately, it only has about 200 miles of range and costs around 65 grand, which feels really expensive. It'll be built in Ohio, which is where the company's name comes from.
It feels like we've been hearing about a Lotus SUV for a decade or more, and it's finally coming for 2024. The Electra doesn't seem to subscribe to the sports car brand's long-held tenets of lightness and compactness, but those things don't usually go together with electric SUVs anyway. That's right, it's powered by batteries. Even so, this thing is huge, about the same length as a BMW X7, but it sits much lower. Lotus says we can expect between 600 and 900 horsepower, depending on trim. We can also expect super quick charging and around 350 miles of range, plus advanced automated driving tech with onboard LiDAR, that's laser radar. US pricing hasn't been announced yet, but overseas figures suggest this Lotus will start right around the 6-figure mark. Luxury startup Lucid is teasing its upcoming 2024 Gravity electric SUV, a big brother to the Air sedan. Like the Tesla Model X and Rivian R1S, it's a proper 3-row, so you can scare lots of kids with its performance. Lucid says the Gravity will have the most range of any electric SUV. I just hope it doesn't have as many annoying bugs as our very own Air sedan. Speaking of which, Lucid is preparing an even higher powered Air. This 1200 horsepower Tesla Model S Plaid rival is tipped to hit 100 miles an hour in under 4 seconds and storm on to over twice that speed. Production starts in the first half of this year.
This is a huge 24 months for Maserati, which is turning over nearly its entire model range. Mazda is finally replacing its Gran Turismo, pushing it upmarket to about $200,000 for starters. It'll be available in both twin-turbo V6 form and pure electric, dubbed the Folgore. The latter will be the brand's first electric car, with plans for all of the Trident brand's cars to go EV by 2030. A Grand Cabrio drop-top arrives later. Arriving ahead of the Gran Turismo is this, the 2023 Grecale compact SUV. Think of it as an Italian Porsche Macan. 4- and 6-cylinder models arrive first, including a mild hybrid model. An all-electric Folgore sibling arrives in the fall. Maserati's tasty MC20 mid-engine sports car gave the brand new life in 2022, and for 2023, a drop-top Cielo version bows, packing 630 horsepower and a glass-folding roof. Bellissimo!
Mazda's compact CX-50 has been on sale for a while now, and we love it. It's not as capacious as some rivals, but it's more fun to drive than all of them, and it feels nicer inside than most. Oddly, Mazda is still keeping the same size CX-5 around, at least for now, perhaps because the CX-50 has a bit more off-road cred. For 2024, Mazda is readying a larger and more premium 3-row SUV, the CX-90, which will presumably replace today's CX-9. It's slated to get a new inline 6-cylinder engine, which feels refreshing to say when everything else is going electric. We're expecting standard all-wheel drive and class-leading driving dynamics because, well, that's what Mazda does. Mazda plans to spin a 2-row model off the CX-90 underpinnings, and it should arrive shortly after its bigger brother, even if we've yet to see a single teaser image. Mazda's first EV hasn't made a dent in the sales charts, partly because Mazda isn't offering it everywhere, and partly because it's only good for around 100 miles of range, which in today's world is rubbish. In 2023, Mazda will add a small range-extending engines to curb that range anxiety. And guess what? It's a rotary, an old Mazda signature that we thought had been sent to the skies. Geeks rejoice.
British sports car manufacturer McLaren is rolling out this new Artura supercar, and this mid-engine plug-in hybrid coupe promises serious performance along with about 20 miles of pure electric range. Now, speaking of range, McLaren has passed on range-maximizing regenerative braking in order to preserve pedal feel, a sign that driving enjoyment remains at the heart of this $250,000 exotic. Renewed and hugely improved just last year, Benz's C-Class is getting a new high-performance AMG C63 derivative for 2024. Long known for its V8 bellow, the new 63 halves its engine's displacement, but it adds an electric turbo and plug-in hybrid tech. The result is 671 horsepower out of a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. One word for that, y'all, and that is yowza. Now, if you like the C63's electrified powertrain formula but need to splash out in something larger, Benz has a new S63 for 2024. Thanks to its twin-turbo V8 and electrified rear axle, it's the most powerful S-Class ever made. Mercedes is getting hot and heavy with EVs over the next year or so, and it's hard to keep track of what's what, so here are the cliff notes. Following on the heels of the larger, costlier EQS, the smaller 2023 EQE is essentially an electric E-Class. Power comes in 3 levels and both rear and all-wheel drive are offered. Range is estimated at an impressive 400 miles, and based on our EQS range tests, we wouldn't be surprised if the EQE sedan does even better. It's available with Benz's huge hyperscreen dashboard too. Now, if you'd rather have something in an SUV, Benz's new 2023 EQE SUV might be right up your alley. This midsize crossover is about the size of the GLE class, and it competes with the Tesla Model Y and BMW iX. It too is available in rear and all-wheel drive, and hyperscreen is optional. It looks super luxe, but it is down on cargo space compared to its rivals. Finally, there is an even more ridiculously powerful AMG EQE variant with over 600 horses and rear-wheel steering.
Struggling to keep up with all the new Mercedes electric SUVs? Well, us too. But at least this one is distinctive. This is the nearly here Mercedes EQG, an electric version of the legendary G-Class or G-Wagon if you're old school. Its boxy looks are retained, and so are its off-road credentials. It'll likely be quicker than the already absurdly quick G63 AMG gas truck, and it might be more capable off-road too. Finally, it can do donuts within its own axles. If you don't need the off-road capability of the EQG but still want a flagship-worthy electric SUV, Benz will be happy to show you the 2023 EQS. This six-figure dreamboat features standard air suspension and optional third-row seating. It's also available with up to 580 horsepower, which is, well, a lot. And finally, an ultra-luxury Maybach version is rumoured to be arriving soon. And now for something completely different. Crank up the surf music. This is the Meyers Manx 2.0, an all-electric version of the iconic Volkswagen-based buggy that dominated 60s and 70s beach parties. No longer VW-based, this EV promises up to 300 miles of range and 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. These are serious numbers. Pricing is TBD, won't be that cheap though, with plans for a low-volume soft launch in 2023.
And Alistair, as the grand fromage here at Edmunds, I think that you should give me a long-termer of the Meyers Manx EV.
I appreciate the dive into French, but I think I'll be very much pulling rank on this one.
No, it's mine. I live in the desert. It's mine.
I live by the beach.
Oh,
Keeping it cute for a second, a version of the Mini Aceman concept shown here is headed to production in 2024. This is an all-electric model that sits between today's standard Cooper and the Countryman SUV. Pricing and specs remain TBD, and we're not sure if the Pokemon infotainment mode is going to make it to production either. Honestly, it can't come soon enough. Mini really needs new models. Talking of which, we're looking forward to seeing the next generation Cooper. Expected to be available as a 2- or 4-door hatchback, or a convertible, the new Cooper is said to be smaller outside, yet roomier inside. An all-electric successor to today's Mini SE EV is also planned. Mitsubishi's Outlander crossover is finally getting a new plug-in hybrid variant for 2023. Like its gas-only counterpart, this model is based on Nissan's popular Rogue. Unusually for a compact crossover, the Mitsu seats up to 7 at a pinch. It offers an estimated 38 miles of all-electric range, well over 400 miles of total range, and is priced right around 40,000 smackers.
Is it a car? Is it a bike? No, it is the Morgan Super 3. This roadster is the small English company's latest three-wheeler, part of a long lineage that dates back over 110 years. All new and powered by a Ford 3-cylinder engine paired with a Mazda Miata manual gearbox, this steampunk-styled trike has no roof whatsoever. Priced from right around 55 grand, it's as endearingly fun as it is impractical.
Honestly, Amy, I've been thinking about this.
Yeah.
You can have the Dune buggy.
Yes!
This is for me.
Oh.
110 years of history. What would you call it? A
Steampunk.
What's that?
Oh my God, you're so British. After leading the global electrification movement with its Leaf, Nissan has been oddly quiet on EVs for years. Now that changes with the Ariya SUV, which is here to take on VW's ID4 and Hyundai's Ioniq 5. Starting at about 45 grand, this 5-passenger crossover is about the size of a Rogue, but it is roomier and features a Japanese-inspired minimalist cabin with a number of clever touches. Ariya launches with a front-wheel drive single-motor model, and with the larger battery pack, range is estimated at just over 300 miles, but some models promise as little as 205 miles, which is really disappointing. A dual-motor all-wheel drive with lots more performance is due soon. Not to be ignored, Nissan's mid-size sedan gets a nip tuck for 2023, including a slight facelift and a big new 12.3-inch infotainment screen with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. This Camry rival starts at right around 26 grand.
Attention, enthusiasts! Nissan's iconic Z has returned for 2023 after a 3-year hiatus. It's got a lot more power and an attractive look that's sort of greatest hits medley of previous Z designs. This rear-drive coupe features a 400 horsepower turbocharged V6 borrowed from Infiniti, and you can even still get it with a manual. The new Z still rides on a version of the old car's platform, which gives it a somewhat old-school vibe. It's not as sophisticated as the rival Toyota Supra, but its analog character has its own appeal.
One more thing. We hear that a new, higher performance Nismo version is around the corner too, and we cannot wait for that one.
If Volvo's upscale Polestar division somehow isn't on your radar yet, well, you might want to sit up and pay attention, because this new Polestar 3 electric SUV looks tremendous. And since it starts at about $85,000, you probably should. The 3 comes standard with 2 motors and all-wheel drive. Available with over 500 horsepower, should really move too. Plus, Polestar is promising 300 miles of range. And since it's part of the greater Volvo family, we're also expecting top safety tech and a high-quality Swedish minimalist interior with generous room for 5.
Porsche's legendary 911 gets a lift for 2023, literally. There is a new rally-inspired Dakar model with more ground clearance, all-terrain tires, and a starting price of over $220,000. Still, we can't wait to have a go. Taking things down a notch, also literally, is the GT3 RS. The 911 range's low-slung track monster. It pairs a high-revving, virtually race-spec engine with a dual-clutch gearbox and crazy downforce aerodynamics. And hey, it's priced at about the same as the Dakar. Also new is the 911 Carrera T, sort of a budget version of the GT3 RS. Only available as a rear-wheel drive coupe and hyper-focused, it features thinner glass, no rear seats, and reduced insulation, all to save weight. It'll lighten your wallet too, by about 120 grand. Now, Porsche always does special editions, and for 2023, there is the nostalgia-soaked Targa 4S Heritage Design Edition and the Sport Classic, which pairs the 911 Turbo's engine with a rear-wheel drive chassis and a manual gearbox. And look, it's got a ducktail!
Ram can't afford to get left out of America's rapidly expanding electric truck market. Cue the Ram 1500 Revolution concept. We expect to see the production version in 2024. Rivian's R1T truck is joined by an SUV variant for 2023. Called R1S, it loses the pickup's clever gear tunnel, but picks up a third row of seats. Like its load-lugging sibling, there's no shortage of clever tech. We recently put one up against Tesla's Model X Plaid, and despite it having significantly less power, it still came out ahead. Rumours persist that in 2024, Rivian will debut a shorter, harder-core off-road SUV dubbed R1X. It's expected to have 4 motors, different batteries, and insane amounts of power. Say hello, or given that it's German now, you could say Guten Tag to Rolls-Royce's first EV, the 2024 Spectre. Sounds like a Bond movie. Anyway, the idea of an electric roller just seems to make sense. After all, British luxury cars have always been about quiet, smooth power, which electric motors do inherently well. This 2-door coupe is actually longer than most 4-door luxury sedans. The 2-motor BMW-derived powertrain is expected to deliver about 300 miles of range and nearly 600 horsepower. And if you have to ask about the price, well, you know, okay, we reckon it's around 400 grand plus.
This is the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek, the 3rd generation compact SUV. Yeah, it's just an Impreza hatchback on stilts, but seriously, these things have always been shockingly capable off-road. This next generation Crosstrek won't stray too far from today's design, but it does feature a slightly tougher look along with improved driver assistance tech and a bigger touchscreen. Now, no word yet on powertrain specs, let alone if a plug-in hybrid model will return. Even so, we expect pricing to start in the same ballpark, right around 25 grand or so. Look for deliveries sometime in 2023. We're also getting a redesigned 2024 Impreza hatchback, which is basically a Crosstrek without the REI expense account. Our man Zoom Mullen has more.
This year, we also get a redesigned 2024 Subaru Impreza hatchback. That's right, hatchback only, no more sedan. Frankly, so many companies are moving away from cars altogether to just make SUVs, we're happy we get any version of the Impreza at all. So how is it? Well, the interior hasn't changed much, but this version of the Impreza does get a stiffer chassis, a more powerful available engine, and Subaru's suite of helpful safety aids is now standard on the Impreza. We can't wait to drive it. This is the fully electric Subaru Solterra, which had only just launched last year when it was immediately embroiled in a massive recall. Will things improve this year? The Solterra does have some benefits, but most importantly, Subaru needs to start building more of these and getting them out on the road fast. Come on guys, figure it out. I want to go camping.
You didn't think we could get through this list without Tesla, did you? No sir, no ma'am. So what are we expecting from Team Elon in 2023 and 24, apart from a bunch of tweets? Well, pretty much the same thing we've been promised for the last few years. The Cybertruck, the Roadster, and the semi-truck. We're told the first new model to make it onto streets in volume will be the Semi. Unfortunately, given that the road to production has been paved with broken promises and missed deadlines, we'll believe it when we're finally behind the yoke. More importantly for you, dear car shopper, is the Cybertruck, the sci-fi-esque pickup truck that Tesla's been promising for a long time. This striking truck with shatterproof, or let's say shatter-resistant glass, was first shown back in 2019. I was there that day and it was supposed to be on sale by the end of 2021, but now it's looking more like late 2023, if not the year after. And we have even less to go on in terms of performance targets than we did back when it debuted. The pricing, the range, and the performance estimates that used to be on Tesla's reservation site are gone. At some point, they're also going to have to replace the aging Model 3, Model Y, Model S, and Model X too, but right now, that's all quiet on the Elon front. As for the superb-looking $200,000 Roadster, we can't wait to drive it. Sadly, like everything else Tesla that's been promised lately, waiting is exactly what we're going to have to do.
Toyota started its EV offensive last year with the bZ4X, but it immediately hit snags. First, we dinged it for its crummy range and ergonomic issues. Then the whole batch was recalled over manufacturing problems. Stay tuned to Edmunds.com for the latest. And speaking of BZs, Toyota's new BZ compact SUV concept promises a small electric vehicle with decent range. Interesting, right? Unfortunately, the aforementioned bZ4X's rough start isn't filling us with optimism, so we're just gonna wait and see. Now, everybody knows the Camry. It's spacious, it's comfortable, oh yeah, and it's great on gas, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's also aging. And we hear a new one is coming for 2024, so sit tight.
Some of Toyota's electric vehicles may not exactly have got your blood running, but this could be different. It's the compact cruiser concept, a boxy electric SUV that harks back to the old FJ Cruiser. We hear a version of it's coming for 2024, but that's not official yet. What should you know about the Toyota Crown? It's a big sedan with a big name. I mean, evoking royalty for a weird-looking, high-riding sedan. Bold move, Toyota. So here's how the Crown measures up. We like what this big four-door sedan is offering, namely a spacious, comfortable interior and a standard hybrid powertrain to help you save fuel. On the top trim version, the combination of a turbocharged 4 and hybrid system combines to give you loads of power, and its adaptive suspension feels great too. But the base engine is significantly weaker, and the ride quality on every car feels too floaty. The Crown is still an awful lot of car for your money, even if it falls short of genuine royalty.
Toyota's Corolla receives a substantial update for 2023, including a stronger hybrid powertrain that's now offered with all-wheel drive. The most popular gas-only LE also gets a more powerful yet more efficient engine. Updated safety and audio gear also figure into the picture. But Corolla has grown more accomplished in recent years, and even with that in mind, it is still hard to not be shocked by the 2023 GR Corolla, an energy drink in the shape of a hatchback. This 300 horsepower rally-inspired all-wheel drive hero is one of the most entertaining cars you can buy at any price. Just make sure you can drive a manual. And if you prefer your Corollas with sensible shapes and power numbers, they don't get much more practical than the new hybrid variant of the Corolla Cross. This 2023 model is super sensible. It's got standard all-wheel drive and an efficient electrified 4-cylinder powertrain, good for an EPA estimated 37 miles per gallon combined.
The Prius and Prius Prime are all new for 2023, and guess what? They're actually kind of great looking. Our Ryan is back with more.
Here we have the redesigned 2023 Toyota Prius, and as you can see, it's gotten a radical makeover. It's now got a fresh new design that's much more elegant than before. It's also more powerful. Under the hood is an upgraded 2-liter 4-cylinder engine made into a hybrid system with improved batteries. That's going to give you more power. In total, it produces almost 200 horsepower, and Toyota says it will be able to shave 2 seconds off its 0 to 60 time compared to the previous Prius. But it hasn't forgotten its fuel-efficient roots. Toyota says the new Prius will be estimated at up to 57 mpg combined. That's a huge improvement. You can get it in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and it comes with a much more modern interior, including a 12.3-inch center touchscreen as standard. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are wireless, and you get all of Toyota's latest safety tech as well. But what about a plug-in hybrid? Well, there's the new Prius Prime for that. and that should be able to go nearly 50 miles on full EV power. The new Prius will be out in early 2023, with the Prius Prime to follow just a few months later.
Among three-row SUVs, the Toyota Sequoia definitely deserves a look. Based on the same platform as the redesigned Tundra pickup, this full-sizer has finally been redesigned for the first time since 2001. And you know what? We think Toyota nailed it. Yes, it is massive, but if you're okay with that, or better still, if you need that, this capable truck-based SUV definitely has the goods. Overlanders, prepare yourself. Toyota is hitting the off-the-grid market hard with its new Trailhunter trim series designed for rugged living. We expect to see the Toyota Tundra, Tacoma, and some SUVs like the 4Runner to carry this badge, along with a bunch of gear, pretty soon.
Vietnam's VinFast lands in America in 2023 with its two-row VF8 SUV and this three-row VF9. Yes, Vietnam. It's tempting to think of VinFast as a startup, but they're already selling tons of cars at home, along with buses and scooters. VinFast parent Vingroup owns everything from hotels to hospitals to cybersecurity and artificial intelligence firms. They've got deep pockets, which should mean VinFast avoids ending up as vaporware. The VF8 is a two-row compact EV set to rival Hyundai's Ioniq 5 and Tesla's Model Y. It comes with standard all-wheel drive. As for this VF9, it gets up to 400 horsepower and up to 370 miles of estimated range. VinFast is promising cutting-edge infotainment, including games and e-commerce apps. Importantly, for an unknown company, both come with 10-year, 125,000-mile warranties. That's impressive. The VF8 starts at around 43 grand, and the VF9 starts at around 58. But there's a big catch. Batteries are not included. Yes, I'm serious. VinFast is pioneering a battery subscription program to help keep costs down and to curb buyer fears of costly replacement packs. A subscription will set you back around $200 a month. If you really do want to buy one with your very own battery, VinFast will sell you one, but it's going to cost you much more. Upwards of 58 grand for the VF8 or 76 grand for the 9. That's a lot. If you want something cheaper, smaller, then VF6 and VF7 models are promised for 2024.
Here's the latest on the Volkswagen ID Buzz. It's coming. Volkswagen wants to get the ID Buzz into the hands of owners sooner rather than later, which means a few lucky customers are about to be very, very happy. Now, if you've seen our hands-on look inside the ID Buzz, you already know we like its space inside and its fun, playful personality all over. We've even driven it since then, a European version anyway. The ID Buzz is mega slow, but it is easy to drive and you'll get a lot of positive attention. Passengers in the second row are in for a bit of a rough ride, however. Overall, Volkswagen actually made good on its promise to resurrect the iconic microbus with an EV twist. Groovy.
And speaking of Volkswagen ID models, here comes the 2024 ID.7. No, it's not going to have this trippy color-changing camo, but this long-range electric sedan will feature a 15-inch infotainment screen, augmented reality head-up display, and smart air vents. Now, did those really need to be smart? Yeah, probably not, but they oscillate like a fan, and that's kind of cool. You're looking at Volkswagen's current Atlas 3-row SUV and CrossSport models, but these siblings are poised to get a refresh soon. That will include updated looks along with substantial interior and powertrain changes. Finally, for Volkswagen, not much is known about the next generation Tiguan, but we're expecting it to arrive in 2024. We've seen spy shots of a fully electric model, which seems odd given they've got the ID.4 now. Either way, we're still expecting a gas or hybrid model to come first.
All right, we're in the home stretch, people. Yes. Grab another glass, you're doing great. Stick with us.
Please stick with us. Your eyeballs pay my salary.
It's an escape from the in-laws. Let's talk 2024 Volvo EX90. No, I didn't say XC90, although the two models are about the same size. This is Volvo's brand new, top-of-the-line electric flagship SUV. It takes Volvo's Scandinavian aesthetic to the next level. It's super sleek, especially for a three-row SUV, but it still has a sense of humor. The headlights wink. They wink. See, wink. The X90 gets a two-motor all-wheel drive setup, good for nearly 500 horsepower. The battery pack is big, enabling, says Volvo, a range of up to 300 miles. Inside, there's a next-gen infotainment system with a bigger 14-inch screen. But that famous Swedish minimalist vibe means there are almost no buttons or dials for things like climate and audio controls, which might be really annoying. This is a Volvo, so it shouldn't be surprising that the EX90's got next-level safety gear and driver assistance. See that thing on the roof? That's LiDAR, laser radar, just like what Google's self-driving bubble cars use. Pricing for this South Carolina-built SUV should start at under 80 grand when it arrives in early 2024. Okay, one more thing. We don't even have a name for it yet, but Volvo has confirmed they're working on a tiny electric SUV to slot in under today's XC40 Recharge Compact. Sounds adorable.
And that's it! You've reached the end of the rainbow, or the end of this list. Anyway, somewhere around 130 cars. Congratulations, I wasn't even sure you had it in you. Heck, I wasn't even sure we had it in Alistair, but I always knew I could do it.
That's fair. Anyway, after all of that, take a well-earned nap, then please come back and leave us a comment. Let us know which models you're most excited about, and of course, don't forget to check out Edmunds.com for even more information, ladies and gentlemen, on all the coolest new cars, trucks, and SUVs. Now to get started on, or to at least delegate, next year's list.
He's such a delegator.